All right, guys, welcome back to the video. In this video, we're going to talk about the flip call pitch. When you call them up to flip them into consulting clients. This is the easier of the two pitches that I have. Not quite ready to give you the other one yet. Might do it, definitely will do it before the end of the course, but might do it next week. I don't know. This is the easier of the two. And it's the pitch that I call with the email fallback option, and I'll explain to you what that is at the end. But there's a lot going on here. And I'll try to explain it as best I can. A lot of psychology, a lot of different things going on. But the key thing to remember here is that you already know these people. You know, you already worked with them before. And you're really, the reason why you're calling them in the first place is to give them the result of the email, right? Now, they're probably going to remember who you are. They're probably going to remember that you had an email with, you did an email with them, or a little bit about the discussion that you had, or, whatever it is. They're going to know who you are. So it's not really, a cold call or anything like that. You already have a relationship with these people, all right? But what we're going to be doing here before the first line, which you're going to see right in this area, is we're going to be giving them some statistics, and we're also going to be giving them kind of bringing their expectations down a little bit, okay? And the reason why we're doing that, well, I'll just go into it and explain to it. I'll explain to you as I go on why we do that, but we're going to bring their expectations down, and we're going to kind of tell them that the email wasn't really as good as we expected it to be, all right? So basically it goes like this. Hey, John, this is Mario from XYZ Consulting. We spoke about the email, spoke about sending the email to your database last week. Okay, that's the tonality that you want to use, kind of like that's why I put the question marks after that. You want to kind of leave it off on a high pitch at the end because you're kind of looking for that reference again, right? So it's, hey, John, this is Mario calling from XYZ Consulting. We spoke about that email to your database last week. Kind of like that, asking him for the reference. Next line, I'm just calling to let you know that the email made money, but it didn't do as well as we expected it to do. I'm calling to let you know that the email made money, but it didn't do as well as we expected it to do. All right. Now, if you want to read it that way, with the wording that way, you can. Obviously, that's not word for word on the screen, but you could do it how you want to do it. That's basically what I say, is something like, I'm just calling to let you know that the email made money, but it didn't do as well as we expected it to do. Right. So I add on the to do at the end. Okay, now he's going to probably say something at this point. It's probably going to be short, usually is. Something like, oh yeah, well, how'd it do? Or something like that, or tell me about it, or whatever, or what happened, or, whatever it is. The way that you want to respond to whatever he says, it doesn't really matter. You want to say, yeah, well, we sent it out to, and this is how we're saying it. Remember, this is the tonality, the pace, everything is dead on here, all right? Yeah, well, we sent it out to a total of 25,000 people, give or take. I think it was like 25,600, something like that. It was opened by around 15,000 people. And out of those 15,000, 5,000 or so, 5,200 approximately, were the number of people that clicked on the link to go to the sales page. Now, we could have done a lot better if the offer we were selling was from your company, but that's really neither here nor there at this point. We already sent the email, so it really doesn't make that much of a difference. But what I do have for you is I have a check made out to your company for a total of $10,000, and I just wanted to make sure that the address that I have here for you is right. And then you're going to read back the address. Okay? So now, the $10,000 number I just pulled out of thin air, that's just going to be the total dollar amount that you're going to send him. So it's going to be half of whatever the email brought in. Now, there was somebody asking about giving them 100% of the dollar amount. You're going to find out why we don't do that at the end of this pitch, because that's going to be our biggest objection, our biggest rebuttal to whatever objection he has. It's not written on this script, though. I'm going to go through it with you so that you understand it, but it's not written here because we're not going to use it with this specific option that we have. In the next one, we are going to use it a lot, but I'm going to explain to you how that works at the end. All right, so I'll run through that one more time. Hey, it's Mario. Hi, John. This is Mario calling from ABC Consulting out in Tampa, Florida. We spoke about sending the email to your database last week. Remember, we spoke about it? Yes, awesome. I'm just calling to let you know that the email made money, but it didn't do as well as we expected it to do. He's going to say something. Yeah, well, we sent it out to a total of 25,400 people, give or take a couple. It was opened by, let's see, 15,600. And out of those 15,600, 7,500 of them clicked on it. Now, we could have done a lot better if the offer we were selling was from your company, but that's neither here nor there at this point. We already sent the email out. I do have a check here made out to your company for a total of $10,000, and I just wanted to make sure that I had the address right. I'm going to read back the address. Okay, now what we're doing here, I want to go through this pitch in a different context, okay, in a different industry, I guess, so that you guys understand what's going on. All right, let's pretend that we are, I'll give you a couple examples. Let's pretend we're selling a car, right? And somebody comes in and they say, yeah, I really love that Honda Accord, but I have to be at $300 a month. If I'm not at $300 a month, I can't buy the car. And then I say to that person, well, I'm going to do the best that I can to get you under $300 a month, right? And, maybe I say to them, with your credit score or something, maybe we can get around, 260, 270, something like that. Maybe even a little bit lower. I don't know. Let me go see what I can do. Put the person at my desk, walk away, talk to my manager about football, baseball, the weather, whatever. Then I go back and I say, listen, I know you wanted to be under $300 a month. I know that I said I can get you to 260, 270, or I was going to try to do that, maybe a little bit lower. Unfortunately, I couldn't get that. But what I did do was get you at 282 a month. Okay, so basically what we're doing is we're setting them up to say, like, they're expecting to hear 375, right? So when we come in at 280, we're bringing them, now they're getting excited about it. Okay, another example would be like if I'm in the mortgage business and I take down information from a lead or run their credit report and get all the information from the bank, everything else. And during that call, I'm telling the person, yeah, you're at 7 right now. I might be able to get you at like 5 or 5.5 or whatever. I'm not really sure. Let me run it through the bank and see what I can do for you. I'll call you back in an hour, whatever. Okay. So we take down all the information. Now, in his mind, he's thinking 5, 5.5, right? So when I call him back, let's say I get the rate at 5.75. I call him back and I say, listen, John, I told you that we can get you probably 5, 5.5. I was going to try to do my best to do that. Unfortunately, I was not even able to come close to that number at all. Right now, you're paying 7, and like I said, I told you I could probably get you between 5 and 5.5, and unfortunately, we weren't able to do that. Now, notice how I repeated myself there twice, purposely done, because I want to bury it in his mind that I'm completely failing, and then I want to surprise him with another number. So I say 5, 5.5 twice. Get him in that disappointing state that he's expecting me to say 8%. We can't do the deal or whatever. And I say, listen, I can't do 5, can't do 5.5. But what I did do is lock you in at 5.75. The deal's done at that point. Okay, we're doing the same exact thing here. We're setting them up for disappointment, and then we're saying, the email wasn't as good as we thought it was. I thought I could have done better. I should have done better. If it was something that you guys had your name on, I probably would have done a lot better. But at any rate, we did make 10 grand in a week. And I just want to send you the check. What's your address? So they're expecting to hear the email made $100. When we say 10,000, usually at that first black line, they say something like, so you're telling me that you're sending me a check for that one email, $10,000, you're sending me a check for $10,000. I didn't do anything. You're sending me a check for, then they get all excited about it. That's exactly why we do it that way. Okay. If you just call them up and you say, yeah, man, hey, listen, the email did great. We sent it out to all these people and we made $10,000. I'm sending it out. You're kind of feeding into their excitement. You want to hit them with a little disappointment, bring them down a lot, and then smack them back up right at the end. All right? So that's why that works that way. Okay, let's move down a little bit here. All right. So he gets all excited. You read the email address. Yeah, awesome, great, wonderful. The next part of the pitch is this. After he reads the address back or he confirms the address and talks a little bit, you say, listen, $10,000, and this is the tone, pace, everything's in line, right? Listen, $10,000, certainly not a home run, but it's not a strikeout either. I really think we could have done better. I really think we could do better if we do it again. So that first line, listen, $10,000, certainly not a home run, but it's not a strikeout either. I really think we could do better if we do it again. All right, now you get really crazy with this next line. Really crazy, really certain and in their face, especially if the offer is something from your company. Listen, $10,000, certainly not a home run, but it's not a strikeout either. And I really think we could do better if we were to do it again, especially if the offer is something from your company. Now, if you wanted to, you can even throw in something like, listen, they know who you are. They might have worked with you in the past. They're familiar with your name. They're familiar with your brand. They're familiar with your products. If it's something from your company, you're going to make more money that way. Okay, now that's not written there, but if you wanted to say something like that, you could. So let's just go back to the especially part and then we'll move on. Especially if the offer is something from your company. Bring it down a lot and you'll make more money that way. Okay, listen, $10,000, certainly not a home run, but it's not a strikeout either. And I really think we could do better if we did it again. Especially if the offer is something from your company and you'll make more money that way. All right, that's how that works. Now we're going to repeat ourselves. Remember, I said this before in the mortgage pitch, in the car business thing. We're doing this purposely. All right, we're kind of burying it into their brain as much as we possibly can. We're saying that dollar amount over and over and over and over again, and we're telling them that what we did sucked. That's what we're telling him. In our world, what we did was horrible, but we know in their world what we did was amazing. All right, so understand the psychology that's going on there. In our world, $10,000 from this email, the open rate, the click-through rate, everything else, that sucks. But in the plumber's world, that's unbelievable. Because for 10 grand, he has to go plumb 100 toilets, 200 toilets, whatever it is. Whatever his industry is, he has to work days, weeks, months to make that amount of money. You did it in a week from sending an email. And it didn't meet our expectations. We should have done better. But in his world, it's awesome. All right? So we go from, and you'll make more money that way. Again, $10,000 isn't a home run. But we did just make $10,000 in under a week from one email. So now we're kind of bringing him back to reality and saying, listen, it's not the greatest thing in the world. We didn't do the job that we thought we could do. We thought we could have done better. But in all reality, we did make 10 grand in a week from one email. So it's not that bad. We're not saying all that, but that's what we're putting into their head, right? We're going back to their product again, and if the product we sold, and the product we sold wasn't even yours. So we're kind of putting it into their head now, if the product was theirs, we would have made a lot more money. Again, $10,000 isn't a home run, but we did just make $10,000 in under a week from one email, and the product we sold wasn't even yours. And that was just one email. Just like that, okay? I'll take it from the top, at the bottom of the first line. Listen, $10,000, certainly not a home run, but it isn't a strikeout either, and I really think we could do better if we did it again, especially if the offer is something from your company. You'll make more money that way. Now again, $10,000, it isn't a home run, but we did just make $10,000 in under a week from just one email, and the product we sold wasn't even yours, and that was just one email. Okay? That's how that whole entire paragraph works. Now, next. This is kind of like our first... it's not really a trial close because we're not really asking them for anything. We're just gonna go through this anyway, regardless of what they say. We're gonna go on to it. All right. So after we say just one email, we go right into, and if you'd like my help, we can continue to do that and a whole lot more. Okay. If you'd like my help, we can continue to do that and a whole lot more. Now. It's very, very rare that the reason why this is not a trial close is because no one's ever going to say no. They never say no there. If it was a trial close, we basically set them up to say no so that we can rebut them. But we're not doing that here. They're going to say, well, yeah, okay, why not? I made $10,000 in 1 week, and why wouldn't I continue to do that? I would be an idiot for not continuing to do it. I didn't do anything. You're sending me a check for 10 grand. So it would be dumb for me to not do that. All right, so there's not going to be a no there. It's going to be a yes almost every time. If you'd like my help, we can continue to do that and a whole lot more. Now, he's going to say, yeah, sure, whatever. Great. Now, real quick, let me explain the process. Let me explain how the process should work going forward so that you can make the most money possible. We're basically going to get started on 5 things right now. okay? And then you just start listing off what you're going to be doing. You don't have to go through the whole 5 boxes. Notice that I say we're going to do 5 things and we only rattle off 4, which is fine. It doesn't really make a difference. But that's basically what you're going to do. All right. So basically, we're going to get started on 5 things right now. We're going to set up an email capture form on your website and write you a lead magnet that will convert up to 40% of your website visitors into qualified leads. That's number 1. Number 2. And you're not saying number 1, number 2, you're just rattling them off, all right? So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna set up an email capture form on your website, write you a lead magnet that's gonna convert up to 40% of your website visitors into qualified leads. We're gonna create an instant offer so that those leads coming into your database have a chance to buy something from you right away. We're also gonna write a series of emails so that the leads go into your database, end up buying from you in the future at an extremely high rate. And what we'll also do is we're either going to talk on the phone or in person at least once a week, touch base, so that I can update you on how things are going. Now, if I do the in-person thing, you guys don't have to. You could just change that to we'll either talk on the phone or in Skype or through email, however you want to structure that sentence. All right. So the important thing about these 4 things here is that this is a word-for-word pitch, obviously, and you want to try to stick to it as much as you can. But really what you're doing here is you're just explaining to them what it is that you're going to do. All right, so you make that a conversational thing. You don't have to just bullet point it out. I don't want it to be, we're going to 1, set up an email capture form on the website. 2, create an email. That's not how it's supposed to be. All right, it's supposed to be, we're basically going to get started on doing 5 things right now. What we're going to do is we're going to set an email capture form on your website. We'll also write you a lead magnet so that we can convert up to 40% of the people that come to your site into qualified leads. We'll also create what's called an instant offer so that when those leads come into your database, they have a chance to buy something from you right away. Like the second they go into your database, boom, they're asked to buy something right away. All right. Then what we're going to do is we're going to write a series of emails so that the leads that go into your database end up buying your main offer, whatever that may be, at an extremely high rate. And then we'll touch base on the phone or in person at least once a week so that I can, update you on how things are going and, address any concerns or questions that you might have. That's basically how you want that, those 4 lines to sound. All right. Okay. Next, after you go through that, what you want to say is you want to close them at that point. Okay. So here's the close. There are no objections at all. We're not getting into a battle on this call. All right. There's no objections. Here's how we do it. Then we'll either talk on the phone or in person at least once a week, touch base so that I can update you on how things are going. Listen, the bottom line is this. We just made $10,000 from one email in under 1 week. And it wasn't even a good email. We just made $10,000 from one email in under a week. And it wasn't even a good email. Here's the freaking key to this whole thing. Listen to how I say this. Just listen to this. Don't worry about you saying it. Don't worry about, just listen to exactly word for word how I say the next 4 lines. Listen. My rate to work with me is half of the thing. Okay, so that's the way that we're going to close it. We're going to close it with half of whatever we send them. So it's $10,000 is what we're going to send them, right? So we just made $10,000 in one email in under 1 week, and it wasn't even a good email. My rate to work with me is $5,000 per month. But I don't want you to send me any money or take out your checkbook at all. I'm not asking you for anything. What I'll do is this. I'll draft another check for you for $5,000, send it off today, and we'll get started on all this right now. You said your address was ABC123456, right? That is how you close the deal. They are going to confirm their address. At the end of that, you are going to rip up the $10,000 check, write a $5,000 check, keep the difference, and begin your work as a consultant. Okay? So here's how it goes again. 1, 2, 3, 4. You'll rattle off the things. Listen, the bottom line is this. We just made $10,000 from one email in under a week, and it wasn't even a good email. My rate to work with me is $5,000 per month, but I don't want you to send me any money or take out your checkbook at all. What I'll do for you is this. I'll draft another check for $5,000, send it off to you right now, and we'll get started on all this today. You said your address was ABC 123 Street, right? Yeah, that's my address. Okay, great. What I'm going to do is I'm going to draft that check out, put it in the mail, send it off to you today, and I'll get started on all these things right now, and we'll touch base in a week. Fair enough? Good, awesome, great. Have a nice day. You're in business. Okay, now, if anything happens where this person says, I need to think about it, I need to call 18 attorneys before we do this, I know, whatever he says, it doesn't matter. Okay? Your rebuttal to that is, for now, until we get to the next pitch, your rebuttal to that is, listen, I hear what you're saying. Here's what we should do. We don't have to do any of this stuff. But what I want to do is continue what we're doing because it's working. Made $10,000 in 1 week from one email. Let's send a second one. That's it. Okay? That's all you got to say to him. If he says no to anything, listen, you already did it once and it worked. So why are we stopping? Let's send a second one. And then what happens is you're going to, they always say yes to that. If you made the money on the first one, they always say yes to the second one, all right? You're going to be able to close 70% of the people on, you said your address was 123 ABC Street, right? 70% of the people that get that far are going to close a deal, and you're going to have consulting clients. If they say no to that, though, what you do is you say, I hear what you're saying. That's fine. Let's do this. What we did last week worked. Let's do it again. I'll schedule something for Tuesday, pick out an offer, and we'll send it off. And then whoever's left over is going to say, okay, fine. And then you just get another email sent out. And then what you're going to do is you're going to call them back again a week after that email and give them basically the same pitch. Basically the same thing. Listen, the only difference is at that point is you're going to say, listen, it's going to be a lot shorter. You're not going to go through all the bullet points and everything. You're going to say, listen, first one was good. Second one was good. I've proven myself. Okay? The rate to work with me is $5,000 a month. I'm not asking you for any money now. All I'm asking you to do is give me one chance and one chance only. Give me 30 days to prove myself again for the third time. And if I don't do what I promise, fire me, never hear from me again. Okay, that now, again, I'm getting ahead of myself because that's the next one. But that's basically what you're going to say. Now, why don't you give them 100%? The reason why you don't give them 100% is because your first rebuttal to the first objection in the next pitch is going to be, this is not word for word, but basically it's going to be this. Listen, what we agreed on, what I sent you, is half of the proceeds from the email. Now, if you were paying me the $5,000 a month, you would have gotten a check for $10,000 instead of $5,000. So you see how I'm playing that? I'm giving them 50% of the proceeds, right, of the email. The email brings in 10 grand, I'm giving them 5. The email brings in 20, I'm giving them 10, right? My fee is half of what I'm sending them. So basic math tells us that if they were to pay me the $5,000, they would have doubled their money. That's why we don't give them 100%, because the first rebuttal is, listen, if you would have just paid me the 5 grand, you wouldn't have got a $10,000 check or a $5,000, you would have got a $20,000 check. So you just lost $15,000 or $10,000 because you didn't pay me my fee. Now we can continue on that path and keep doing that. I make more money that way. We can continue on that path and do that. But for you to make more money, for you to get the most out of the services that I offer, for you to get the most value out of everything that I do, and for me to put my team into action to start working on your site and building your company with you, I'm going to rip this check up, send you $5,000, and we'll get started right now. Okay? You're going to close a lot of deals in this pitch. The next one is for, it's a little bit of a, it's a little bit more of a battle, but this one is a little easier to do. You're still going to close a lot of deals, still going to get a lot of consulting clients, but you have that fallback option for the second email. And if you can send the second email, if the first one worked, the second one's going to work, right? May not be as good as the first one, but it may be better depending on how it is. But you'll always, you'll be able to make more money with it, right? And it's easier to get this pitch off. You don't have to get in any kind of long, drawn-out battles with anybody. For the people who want to do that, awesome, because that's what I love to do. And that's what we're going to get into next week when we go into the sales training portion of next week when we go into the second pitch that I have drafted up for this, all right? So that is your flip call. Very, very easy. We'll run through it from the top one more time. Hey, John, this is Mario from ABC Consulting. We spoke about sending the email to your database last week? Asking for the reference. I'm just calling to let you know that the email made money, but it didn't do as well as we expected. He's going to say something. Yeah, we sent it out to a total of 25,000 people. It was opened by 10,000. It was clicked on by 7,500. We could have done a lot better if we were offering something that was being sold by your company, but that's neither here nor there because the email is already sent out, so it's not that big of a deal. What I have for you here is the check made out to your company for a total of $10,000, and I just wanted to make sure I had the address right. Oh my God, $10,000, yes, that's awesome, great, wonderful. Listen, $10,000, certainly not a home run, but it's not a strikeout either, and I really think we could do better if we did it again, especially if the offer is something from your company, and you'll make more money that way. Again, $10,000 isn't a home run, but we did just make $10,000 in under 1 week from one email, and the product we sold wasn't even yours. And again, the email wasn't even that good, and it was just one email that we sent out. Now, if you'd like my help, we can continue to do that, and we can do a whole lot more as well. Let him talk. Great. Now, real quick, let me explain how the process should work going forward so that you make the most money possible. What we're basically going to do is start off on 5 things right away. We're going to set up an email capture form on your website. We're going to write you a lead magnet that's going to convert up to 40% of your website visitors into qualified leads. Then what we're going to do is we're going to create what's called an instant offer so that those leads that come into your database have a chance to buy something from you right away. It's not going to take weeks or months to do. You're going to see it instantly. We'll write a series of emails so that the leads go into your database, end up buying your main offer at a higher rate than they are now. And we'll talk on the phone or in person at least once a week to touch base so that I can update you on how things are going. You can ask me some questions and we can, talk about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness or whatever the hell you want to talk about for an hour. Listen, the bottom line is this. We just made $10,000 from one email in under 1 week, and it wasn't even a good one. My rate to work with me is $5,000 per month, but I don't want you sending me any money now. I don't want you taking out your checkbook, none of that stuff. What I'm going to do is I'm going to rip up the check that I have here and draft you another one for $5,000, send it off to you right now, and we'll get started on all the stuff I just mentioned today. You said your address was 123 ABC Street, right? Awesome, wonderful, great, have a nice day. That's how it works. Very simple, not that big of a deal. All right, that is it. The next video that you guys are going to watch is the one call close video for emails. Not getting into one call close for consulting. One call close for email clients is going to be the next one. All right, that's it. Thanks for watching.